If you're a teacher, here's how you can make 10K a month over summer by tutoring online with your own business. And the cool thing, you don't even need to teach any lessons. So you can simply enroll your dream online tutoring students and make sure you've got a thriving business ready to start teaching when the new school term starts. So if that sounds a little bit interesting, watch this video and I'll share exactly how I've been helping my clients build thriving online tutoring businesses and how you can model what I teach my private clients to get to 10K a month and more as an online tutor in summer 2025. So let me share the screen and I'll show exactly what you need to do if you're a teacher, or maybe you've started tutoring online, but you'd love to start scaling to 10K a month and more over summer 2025. Let's jump in. Just so you know you're in good hands, if you check the screen now, you're going to see some of my clients and the results that they're getting. Quinita over in the top right brought in 50 grand in sales when she quit teaching back in June a few years ago. Dalton started working with us over summer and she was able to scale to over $1 million in her own online tutoring business in the next 10 months. Luke, he hit 10K in September 2024 because he'd started teaching over summer or building his online tutoring business, putting the wheels in motion. Tara, down here at the bottom, hit 20 grand in September 2024 because she also started using some of the strategies that I'm going to share inside this video over summer. So she was prepped ahead of the game, and you can do the same as well. And this doesn't even scratch the surface. For example, here we are, we've been featured by Rolling Stone, NASDAQ, New York Weekly, Benzinga, London Daily Post, Yahoo Finance, Associated Press, Ask.com, CEO Weekly, Entrepreneur Magazine, for these strategies we've been teaching our clients. So that scaled to 13 grand months. Sarah, 5K, Sam, Killian, Arif brought in 40 grand in a single month. Lisa Leica was able to quit the classroom. Evan scaled to over 11 grand in a single month and brought in 6 figures in cash alongside of his full-time classroom job. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on the amount of teachers that we've been helping here at the Teacher Project use some of the strategies that I'm going to be walking you through right now. So let's jump in. So the first thing that you need to think about is the offer. So if you're starting from scratch, the offer that you produce as an online tutor or create, an offer meaning what you're going to teach, who you're going to teach, and what result are you going to help that student achieve? Okay, and the reason why this is really important is so that over summer, you can create a very specific marketing campaign and message to bring in that ideal student. Now, this helps you for a few reasons. One, it allows you to stand out and appear and become the expert for helping one type of student. That's important so that you can command a premium price point. Okay. And secondly, so that you can attract one type of student can actually be grouped together. Because if you're a teacher and you're thinking about taking your tutoring services online and you try and help everybody, well, then you're just going to attract so many different students that can't be grouped together. So you create a mess. You just create a glorified job. And then you just become a taxi driver who can just sell their time, right? Because if you think about a taxi driver, there's only so many passengers they can pick up. There's only so many trips they can go on each and every single day. And therefore, they're capped on the amount of impact and income that they can make. And so your key is to have exponential growth when you're starting to build your online tutoring business. And that means you need to really focus on one type of student in the beginning so that you can build a successful marketing campaign that appeals and attracts that one type of student, and you can be seen as the expert for helping that type of student. So the first thing you should consider is your student offer. Okay, and this needs to be dialed down into one student. That could be the struggling student. It could be the student who wants the edge, right? Who's already ahead, that's just looking for that certainty, that accountability. And so, for example, I send my daughter to a private tutoring group and she's not behind, but I wanted to get the edge. I don't want her to sit on the sofa and watch Netflix in the evenings, right? I'd rather her go to a tutoring lesson. And so if I saw an advert or a tutor was communicating to me, hey, is your daughter or is your child or whatever struggling with reading or whatever it might be, and they're feeling down on low on confidence, that wouldn't appeal to me because that's not my daughter. So you need to think about who it is you're really going after and who it is you're targeting. So one student, this might be the age range and the ability level of the student. The second is the subject, right? So if you're an elementary school teacher, then you've probably got a whole host of subjects that you can teach. If you're secondary or high school or whatever, then, like you've probably got an area of special. You've probably got a subject where you're an expert in, that you're already teaching, right? So for you, it would make sense to keep that subject, or maybe you've got a few, but you'd really want to focus on the age range of the student, because a ninth grade student is very different to a 12th grade or a 7th grade and so on, right? And now the result. So what are you wanting this student to do? Are you wanting to boost their SAT score? Are you wanting to catch up on grade level? So what are you helping these students do? Are you helping them play their first song on the guitar? What is it? Okay, because this is what you're going to market and what you're going to communicate to your students. This is the result that they desire. Okay, so for example, super basic, third grade students who are reading below grade level at school, right, that want to jump 2 grades. And I could make that and want to jump 2 reading levels. So that's the result I help my students achieve. I help them read on grade level by jumping 2 reading levels. Okay, super simple. Now the next thing, so once you've got your student offer in place, the next thing is your program offer. So what do you actually provide? Now, of course, we're talking about groups here, not one-on-one lessons, because we've talked about that before. That's the old wave of tutoring. It's kind of the dinosaur age. That's what people thought that private tutoring is, but it's not scalable. You can't scale impact, the amount of students you can help. You can't scale your income. You're just creating a glorified job. Okay, and it becomes very, very difficult then, if you teach students one-on-one, to be able to get to 10 grand in a single month. Because if you think about it, the max that you're probably going to be able to, you're essentially just going to have a price tag on what parents and students will pay per lesson. Because a parent's only going to want to pay so much for a one-on-one lesson, because they're going to be able to compare it to all of the other tutors. Whereas the group lesson, as long as you provide the right program offer, the right deliverables, then that you can make it way more affordable, but your ability to price the services is going to allow you to scale to 10 grand way faster, like the clients I shared with you at the start are already doing, because you can have more students per hour. It's just common sense, right? And plus, if you charge over a term, like a semester, instead of just by the lesson, parents aren't going to want to pay your students. Let's even say that you charged on the high end, like $100, let's say, per lesson. Well, that way, what you could be doing is, like you might have 2 lessons a week with the student. That's 200 a week, times that by 4 across the month. That's 800, times that over a 12-week period, 2,400. And so the parents are always going to want to break it up. They're probably going to want to just pay per lesson. They're in control of when they can reschedule, when they can cancel the lessons. And so they have more control. Okay, whereas when you teach groups, you can just say, hey, here's the amount, it's 12 weeks, here's the length, here's the sign-up length, here's how many lessons, here's everything else that we offer, and you're taking the pressure and the isolation of just the 1 hour of tutoring lesson that the students get, right? Because you're talking about the whole value of what's on offer here. So here's what you would offer: 1 group class per week, 5 to 10 students per class. Obviously, this is subject dependent, your teaching ability, things like that. So if you're worried and you don't have the confidence yet to teach groups, and of course, it depends, again, like I said, on the subject, age of student, I'd start on the lower end, make sure you're good, and then increase your student numbers if you felt confident, okay? You're going to want to offer 12 weeks in length. This allows you to command a higher price point to make it easy to get to 10K a month and beyond. You could add a weekly catch-up class in there, or homework club. I'm going to add that in. A homework club, which could just be a catch-up session. So in your group classes, if you've got students who are falling behind, just invite them to your catch-up class each week. Or if you've got older students, it could just be a homework club where you help them with a homework, Q&A sessions, whatever you want. Okay? A tutor that I sent my daughter to, the catch-up class that they used, it was just a book club. And so they invited all of the students that attended all the individual group lessons, but they were all allowed to attend this 1 weekly book club. It allowed the teacher to provide more value, get in front of the students more, create that kind of community feel, that stickiness that made the students want to retain and stay, because it was just fun. So you can definitely do stuff like that with the younger students. It could even be for parents. Like maybe one of the sessions you put on a week is a parent Q&A, and how the parents can help engage in their child's learning more. So you're seen as more than just like the tutor, more the mentor, the expert, the leader, right? And then kind of what you want to do, if you think about in schools, they have parents' evenings, right? Where the parent will chat with the teacher, whereas just for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I know my daughter and son's school, it's just like a 15-minute check-in once a term. And so you could add something like this, and it's just a one one-on-one call where you get to feedback. You could frame these as assessments, things like that. A great time frame is right in the middle of the 12 weeks. So you could, based on your time availability, have one at the start, one in the middle, one towards the end to keep reporting back. So that's kind of every month. Again, that depends on your flexibility. It's definitely a great value add. And you could frame these as assessments, or it could just be feedback sessions, or where you could actually use it to your advantage or the student's advantage to really focus on where they're struggling to close any knowledge gaps. And then what you're going to want to do is create some sort of parent and student community and have that in your offer. It could be a WhatsApp group, Telegram group, Facebook chat, something like that. But something where you can create this winning environment, this community where you've got all the parents in there, or the students if they're older students. Now you can market to them, internally market about how well things are going. You can celebrate student success. You can create announcements in there. And it's like this little hub that people value because they're a part of something, right? So do something like that. And then in terms of pricing strategy, you're going to want to start anywhere from 500 to $1,000. Okay, you can definitely charge higher. We got clients, so for example, Quinita, who I shared at the start of this video, who did 50 grand in 12 weeks after leaving teaching one summer, she was charging 2,200, right? But obviously you've got to have the confidence to do that. So if you're just getting started, you might start on the lower end, 500 for 12 weeks. And if you think about it, now you only need to enroll 20 students to get to 10K a month, right? It's just simple math at this point, where if you charge $1,000, it's just 10 students. Where if you think about an online tutor who's teaching one-on-one, let's do some quick math here. If I'm doing 10 grand divided by, and I charge like 50, divided by 50 because I'm charging 50 an hour, that's 200 lessons across the month, okay? And so, like I might have 10 students, and that would still need to be 20 hours of teaching, right? In order to do that per student, we'd need 20 hours. Right? And so this makes it way simpler. So you can charge here, and what you would do, once you're enrolling 40% of the students you speak to, so once you start generating inquiries, you can increase your rate. Okay, so rule of thumb that I've got here, I'll walk you through. If you're speaking to 10 students and 4 of them say yes and they enroll and they get signed up, then it's a great indication that you can increase your rate. So you could boost it by 20 to 25%, find the sweet spot. Generally, when you drop below 20% of the students that you speak to stop enrolling and that stays consistent, you've kind of found the price elasticity, meaning how far you can stretch your price point. Obviously, down the line, you might just need to get better at sales. You might just need more student testimonials, results to validate and build more trust in what you're doing, which makes it easier to sell because people pay for results. And so, you might go from 500 to 750 to $1,000. And obviously, the more you're charging, the more value you can put on the other teachers you can hire. You can have TAs in the sessions. You can create a much better experience for your students. Most teachers get scared about charging money, but remember, in order for the business to grow, your business needs to make money, right? And money is a good thing. It's a tool to make your services better, because the more you charge, the better premium product that you can provide to your students, the better results they're going to get. Also, the more money and margins you'll have, the higher support, resources, pour back into marketing. So that's why it's important to charge a little bit more, and have a premium service. And a lot of teachers just fail to grow and tap into this online tutoring space because they're not charging enough. They're charging by the hour, and therefore they just don't have the margins to really kind of grow the business. And so you have to charge more. Now, in terms of planning your timetable, what you're going to want to do here is literally just open up 10 slots on your timetable. So load up your timetable for the full semester or the new academic year. Plot out 10 times 1 hour slots where you can teach students, okay? So this could be 6 till 7 on a Monday, 5 till 6 on a Tuesday, and 6 till 7 on a Tuesday, and 7 till 8. Just map out 10, right, across the week. And now your goal, this could be the first week starting back at school in the new school term. You're not doing any teaching over summer. I'm going to talk you through that in just a second. The goal is to simply fill all of those time slots up with 5 to 10 students. Now, if you do get to the first week of term and some classes have only got 1 student in, you might be able to mix them and suggest to them to come to a different time frame. But anyway, eventually you'll fill the slots up. So a lot of people I've seen previously in previous years, they only have 1 or 2 students in a group class, or they've only managed to fill a class with 1 or 2 students, and then they delay the class from starting. Just start teaching, because you can always just fill and add students in as you go. Guys, quick interrupt. I hope you're enjoying the video, but I wanted to make sure you picked up your copy of Teaching on Your Own Terms. It's my best-selling book, and it shares with you the exact 5 steps that I've used with over 2,000 teachers at this point, helping them build their dream online teaching businesses. It went to bestseller in 7 categories. It's been featured by NASDAQ in Times Square, New York City. And I know you're going to love it. Inside of the book, you're going to learn things like how to position yourself as the go-to tutor in the marketplace, and the offer that you can create to get your ideal students reaching out, and how to communicate that. I'll share with you what I've seen as the best advertising strategies to get in front of new students and parents who want what you've got, how to sell your services, and everything you actually need to include in an online group tutoring business to make sure your students crush it and get great results. There's some free gifts and bonuses in there. I think in the first couple of pages, there's a link. You can go and grab some free gifts on me. But I know you're going to love it. Teaching on Your Own Terms. I'll leave a link down below in the comments, and go and pick up your copy today. Now you've got a target. And if we've got a target, you've got something to aim for. You've got focus, right? You've got something to work towards. And if you've got a goal, it's written down, it's there, you're way more likely to achieve it. So now you've got the business model ready to go. Now it's all about just getting the students. So what I'm going to walk you through here is how to market your services over summer. You can use this if you're just starting out, or you're already tutoring students online. And so I've put together an example advertising copy that we give our clients. And so what you want to do in the summer, and to be frank, like any time in the academic year, the best way to market your services is to make whatever you're promoting seasonal. Okay, so in the summer term, you want to have a play on, hey, what's happening over summer? You want to make it seasonal, and that just makes it more relative when people are reading it and what's going on in the day-to-day at the moment. They're going to read it more, they're going to vibe with it more, it's going to create more engagement, okay? So here's an example advertising copy that you might run on Facebook, okay? Parents, read this if your 7th to 9th grade teen is struggling with SAT math. Now, I could improve that, right? So I could put something like this: read this if your 7th to 9th grade teen struggled with math. Okay, I can make it more relative. This summer, I'll help your teen master SAT math, close their knowledge gaps, and boost their scores ready for next academic year. And if they don't improve in the first 30 days of going back to class, I'm going to add some sort of guarantee, and I'll keep teaching them next academic year for free until they do. Okay, so things I put in here this summer: if they struggled with math this school year, if they didn't perform on grade level, you can obviously just change the different things on what it is you're teaching, different subjects. But I'm added some sort of guarantee in there, a conditional guarantee, of course, because if you have a start assessment, an end assessment with your students over the first 30 days, and if you have little things that you have to attend X amount of lessons, then and they don't see an improvement. And if you actually teach them and they do all those things, they turn up, why wouldn't they improve, right? If they haven't seen improvement in their scores, you could add some sort of incentive to remove the risk of the parent and student getting signed up, that, hey, you'll keep teaching them for free for another 30 days until they see that improvement. Okay, and now we play on here. Don't be the parent this summer that waits until their child is falling behind in term 1 to look for help. And by then, stress has already kicked in. Make the smart move this summer so your child is supported, organized, and ready to thrive from day 1. Click the Learn More button, answer a few quick questions, see if you qualify, and then book in a call this week to secure your place before the school year begins. So it's emphasizing why summer's a better time to take action, because they're more organized. They're making sure that they're not rushing around when the child goes back to school. They've got more security, and so that way, people's going to read it and they're going to understand what's going on right now, where they are in the time of the year. And other things that you could be saying as well is, hey, use this summer to get ahead. Most students, and you could relate to professional athletes. So professional athletes train in the off season. Don't let the summer go to waste. Use the summer to your advantage. And so you need to make sure that you're using that type of messaging to get your parents, get your students, your ideal clientele excited. Okay, how they can go back to school and have the edge, how they can go back to school top of the class, knowledge gaps have closed. And so that's how you want to position your marketing. And then from here, well, here's just a general example of how we get our clients to set up their ads. We use Facebook and Instagram ads, and you would use an basic advertising copy like this. And in fact, then you'd use like an image or something that would literally just state these words. Read this if your 7th to 9th grade teen has struggled with SAT math this school year. Okay. And so that could be just text on an image, and that works fine, right? Or you could be doing a video with this as well, and you launch that as an ad. Now, we found some of the best ways are to drive these ads. So once people click on the ad, they go into a Messenger conversation, okay? Directly into Messenger, it allows you to speak with the parent or student, educate and provide homework with them. So help them prepare, educate, qualify them, make sure they're the right fit, and then book them in for a call with you on Zoom. Now, at the same time in Messenger, and you can also use instant forms on Facebook as well. It's also a great way, but you collect the email and phone number once you book people in for a call, and that way you can continue to market to them. So if they don't sign up now over summer, then you can send them an email. You can follow up when the new school year starts and then get them back onto a call. Okay, but you're going to want to be running things like sponsored ads on Facebook. It's a faster, more predictable traffic source. You absolutely could reach out to your own audience on social media. So hit your contact list up, who all the contacts, go through them, let them know what you're doing, your plan is for the new school year, and you've got all these slots to fill, and you might get some referrals that way. But if you run a simple ad like this is what we get all of our clients to do. And, you know, as long as you follow up, educate and provide homework before a Zoom call, it's really just about numbers, right? And obviously you need to be able to sell, you need to know what to say, but that's something we can absolutely help you with. I'll tell you about that in a bit. And then from there, so what do you do now over summer? Well, if your lessons aren't starting until the new school year begins, all you are doing once you get this set up over summer is to simply generate enrollment calls. Okay, so new calls, generate those calls by marketing, following up with leads, speaking to people, letting them know about your offer, what it is you're doing. And if you're not on a call, you're just generating calls. So you're either generating calls or taking calls. So that's all you now focus on. And so you're going through what we call a pre-sales process, where you've got the start date, and now you can just spend all of your time, your focus, your energy on one thing: generating new calls by marketing, and then delivering new calls by speaking with the people you managed to get booked in. And that's it, okay? Now, what you can then do when the students sign up, okay, so if you take an enrollment call with a student, they sign up, you can either take a deposit, okay? So let's say you were charging $500 for the 12 weeks. If they weren't able to pay it all up front, you could just take a deposit. It's half now and half on the first lesson, okay, once they go back to school. Okay, or if it's $1,000, it's $500 now and $500 on the first lesson. Okay, and then what you'll do then, after they enroll, you'll send them some sort of email and give them some things to prep on throughout the rest of the summer. Okay, so it could just simply be an assessment that you could create that keeps them busy. It could be like create a vision board, something fun. It could just be some goal setting questions. It literally just could be the steps on what they need to do over summer, or some books that they could grab and revise from, whether that's from Amazon or wherever. Because they're not starting right away, you do want to give them something to focus on, or just some summer homework. So you could just create something like that. And then what I would do the week before or the first week of classes, you run an onboarding call, meaning anyone who's signed up, you get them signed up for this call on Zoom. You can have all of the parents, all the students who signed up on it. And what you do on this call, you just get them re-excited, right? Because they initially were excited when they signed up earlier in the summer. And so what you do on this onboarding call is you just kind of re-engage them and get them excited for what's to come. You explain how the program is going to work, how you're going to be teaching them how to attend lessons, all of kind of little behavior things and rules and expectations from your side. So you set the scene for a super successful 12-week block of lessons. Okay, and answer any questions that they might have. It's really helping them feel secure and confident again that they made a great decision to enroll their child, or if it's the adult learner, to enroll into your program. Okay, and so you can do that. And then what you would want to do as well, just 1 week before the classes begin, that's when you can perhaps start to design your initial teaching lessons or resources. But really, you only want to be 1 to 2 weeks ahead of your students. Okay, so you don't have to spend hours and hours designing the perfect curriculum that you're going to teach students, because you don't actually have classes to deliver yet. And so many people want to prepare to become perfect, but perfect's the enemy of done, right? It's better to just teach as you go with your first few students. A housing developer doesn't build the house and then try and sell the house. They just sell. Now they get to work and build the house. And that's what you need to do over summer. And if you price the services how I gave you, it's really just simple math. As I said, if you're charging $500 per 12-week sign up, you need 20 students. If it's $1,000, you obviously need less. You only need 10, okay? And if there's some teachers out there who are enrolling some of our clients 18 in a single day, doesn't that make it possible for you, if you had the right strategies, the right structure to your business, to just follow suit and at least get 10 students in a single month? Now, of course, you might need to refine, improve your sales skills, but this is how you can get started this summer, taking your teaching skills online with your own online tutoring business and get to 10K a month and more, like many of our clients have already done. And so if you liked this video and you want to get started this summer building your own online tutoring business, just click one of the links down below, fill out a form, and get booked in to speak to our team, and we'll help you build out a summer game plan to help you set all of this up, help you start advertising, help you build your own program offer, and start selling your services this summer and get to 10 grand a month as a teacher. So click the link down below the video, head to the site, and just book in a call, and we look forward to helping you this summer.